That was Duck and Bear with A Trappy Christmas, the Jingle Bell Rock Mix. Welcome to the Rise Weekly Review for December 13th through December 20th, 2021. A man was shot to death after a car crash in South Chicago on Wednesday. According to reports, the man identified as 25-year-old Timmy Dumas was traveling on the 2500 block of 83rd Street around 10:30 p.m. As he drove down the street, a red SUV crashed into him. Someone inside the vehicle began firing shots at Dumas, striking him. Dumas managed to escape from the vehicle and ran from the scene. He was found dead behind a nearby house. Anyone with information on this or other Chicago crimes is asked to contact 311 or leave an anonymous tip at cpdtip.com. On Sunday, a 38-year-old man was shot in a South Shore apartment. The shooting took place around 3:58 p.m. on the 6800 block of Ridgeland Avenue. The man was taken to the University of Chicago Medical Center where he was treated for a gunshot wound to the right arm. He was last listed in fair condition. On Wednesday, a shooting on the Bishop Ford Expressway left one person injured. The shooting occurred in the morning hours on I-94 near 159th Street in Calumet City. First responders arriving on the scene transported the victim to an area hospital. The person was last reported with non-life-threatening injuries. No further details were reported at this time. News stations posted updates during the week on a story of a former Chicago Bears lineman and Hall of Famer arrested in Northwest Indiana for operating while intoxicated. 64-year-old Dan Hampton, who was referred to as fans as Danimal, was arrested in Winfield, Indiana, just south of Maryville on November 20th. Hampton was pulled over while driving 68 miles per hour in a 40-mile-per-hour zone. Hampton was found in his truck with an open jug of Carlo Rossi wine and had a blood alcohol level of 0.189. The legal limit in Indiana and Illinois is 0.08. Hampton had previous drunk driving arrests in 2002 in Arkansas and in 1996 and 1997. He is facing charges of operating a vehicle with a specified amount of alcohol, operating while intoxicated, endangering a person, and operating while intoxicated. Hampton was out on bond and his court date is set on January 25, 2022. Police started their efforts to ramp up patrols for the holidays. Starting Friday the 18th, Lake County, Indiana Sheriff's Department and LaPorte County Sheriff's Department began their efforts as part of the Safe Family Travel campaign. The departments are increasing patrols and have ordered officers to be on high alert for driving-related offenses, including operating while intoxicated, dangerous driving, and seatbelt violations. The Safe Family Travel campaign is part of an Indiana effort to attempt to reduce crashes and fatalities during the holidays. According to the Northwest Indiana Times, last December, 73 people died in crashes in Indiana, with 11 of those involving drunken driving. The increased patrols are set to last until January 1st. During the week, video emerged on news sites of a UPS driver tossing an Eastside woman's packages over her fence. The story received media coverage after a woman noticed the UPS driver on her home surveillance video throwing the package over the fence. After getting no response from UPS, the woman contacted the media. The woman says she initially left a note asking UPS to leave the packages inside the gate to prevent thievery. Thievery of packages left in front of homes has been on the rise in recent weeks on the east side. Several residents have posted videos showing thieves walking up or driving up to homes and taking packages left on porches. The woman says she left the gate unlocked for the driver to leave the packages. However, rather than opening the gate, the woman noticed the driver throwing the packages over the fence. In other news, Reserve Management Group, the company that is building a metal shredder on the east side that activists call General Iron, was calling on the city and EPA to tour its facilities during the week. The company released a letter it sent on Wednesday addressed to Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot, City Health Commissioner Allison Arwady, and U.S. Environmental Protection Agency Administrator Michael Reagan. In the letter, the company urges the city to issue the final permit it needs to begin operations. The letter begins by criticizing both activists and media coverage of the business. The company claims that the activists vowed to oppose the business no matter what the evidence demonstrated. The company presents its business as a state-of-the-art facility that meets goals the U.S. EPA set under Administrator Reagan on investments in recycling. The EPA under Reagan has taken a stronger look at environmental justice issues and questions some of the previous actions the agency took during the Trump administration, including the administering of the Illinois EPA permits RMG. The federal government had recently begun an investigation into Illinois EPA's decision to approve the company's air quality permit, but had suspended it in March following discussions on an informal resolution to resolve civil rights complaints by environmental groups. However, the company claims EPA officials appointed by nonpartisan administrators reviewed its state EPA permits. The letter also claims that because the IEPA authorized it, Dr. Awadi's health impact assessment is unwarranted and lacks legal authority. The company attempted to use similar arguments in court cases earlier in the year that sought to push the city to either allow the permit or pay damages. A federal judge dismissed the case in June, sending the issue to the state courts. A Cook County judge in August would not allow a temporary injunction that would force the permit, but did not rule out the company's ability to seek damages if the permit was later denied. However, on the other side of the issue, Dr. Awadi was also called on by two members of the Chicago Board of Health to deny the permit. The two included Carmen Vergara and Dr. Steve Rothschild. Vergara is the chief operating officer of Esperanza Health Centers, and Rothschild, the chair of family medicine at Rush University Medical Center. The letter, according to the company, was signed by over 1,300 supporters that included employees, residents, and others in the recycling industry. Among the names in the letter was the executive director of the Hispanic American construction industry, Hacia, Jorge Perez. Perez, who has been a vocal supporter of the Reserve Management Group, was a former deputy commissioner for Chicago's Department of Aviation and vice president of strategic planning and policy for the Chicago Transit Authority. Perez also operates Chico's Oven Bakery in the Bush and was a former head of the Calumet Area Industrial Commission and is on the board of the directors for the Clarition Associates, who are developing new mixed-use housing in South Chicago and South Shore.
Well, to attribute all of those to one source is actually irresponsible as well. There is no, they're not even operating now, and they're throwing out all of these, I call it alternative facts of what they should be looking at, what CDPH is looking at, and that's just completely wrong. We went through all that. The PM10 was one standard, the PM 2.5 was another standard. And this facility will exceed all of those requirements. What is fascinating is that every time there is a new requirement or even part of this HIA, the activists out here seems to, very similar to a child. If their tantrums are loud enough, somehow they believe that then the city will then turn around and do exactly what they say.
A decision on the permit is expected in January. On Tuesday, the City of Chicago held its second meeting on the revisioning of Commercial Avenue. The city is hoping to transform Commercial into a pedestrian corridor similar to walkable commercial districts on the north side of Chicago. During the meeting, the city presented its plan of extending the sidewalk and shrinking the street size to accommodate protected bike lanes. The city will also set up bus bulbs or extensions of the street near corners to stop buses from having to pull over to stop and pick up passengers. Instead, buses will stop in the street and pick up passengers near the extended corners. The city also described an effort to begin creating riverfront parks in South Chicago. The city is planning a new park in the river near 92nd and Harbor and a future park next to the Packet Corporation on the Calumet River. The parks near new proposed South Chicago housing developments is the reason some activists claim nonprofit organizations involved in the RMG struggle have been pressuring the city to rezone the riverfront. The city limited public response to the presentation. Residents were only allowed to either submit questions to moderators in an online chat or answer multiple choice questions about which style they wanted the development to take, with no option to reject the proposals. During the meeting, residents raised questions about the impact of the new development both on existing drivers and in the prospects of gentrification. CDOT acknowledged that tens of thousands of drivers use Commercial every day, and its own survey showed over 68% claim driving as their chief means of transportation on Commercial, with parking being a chief concern. However, despite this, city officials reiterated their goals of transforming Commercial into a pedestrian-oriented district that is friendly to bikers. Ishmael Cuevas from Alderwoman Susan Sadlowski Garza's office responded that the city is not looking to gentrify the area, but is looking to attract new residents. According to him, there are increased vacancies of homes in South Chicago.
And the population now is approximately 30 to 31,000 people. And so, there's a lot of room for people to cohabitate, to live in South Chicago and make it a healthy neighborhood. The last thing I want to say is this is not being done to raise property taxes, right? This is not done to do any of that. This is actually done to ensure that the people of South Chicago have a safe, walkable community.
Some activists question if there are so many vacancies why the city is spending millions in TIF financing for new housing units on Commercial, and how the city plans to prevent displacement when similar developments lead to property tax, rent, and other cost of living increases. Cuevas responded claiming there were no current property assessment increases. However, Cuevas did not state there would be no future increases following the developments. In South Shore, similar developments have gotten residents to begin organizing to protest the effects of gentrification. With the area proximity to the Obama Library, many are expecting changes to occur in the cost of living. These changes are expected to happen throughout the area, with some seeing the city's recent spending efforts as an attempt to create attractions for new communities to develop due to the library's impact. Some area activists are proposing community benefits agreements and ordinances to offer protections to ensure long-time residents are not displaced.
Landlords say, well, hey, Ms. Johnson, I know you've been living here 30 years. You've paid your rent every month. You're a great tenant, but I can do nothing to this unit. I can increase the price by 20, 30, 40% and get someone else in there. And so, that's what folks will do if there aren't certain laws and protections put in place, like the ones we've advanced, that try and help sure that renters can stay in the neighborhood, that the city has programs for the renters to be able to become homeowners, and that we have protections for our homeowners.
However, in some cases, nonprofit organizations have been forming coalition networks to encourage and support the city developments. In South Shore, established nonprofit organizations, while not rejecting home ownership efforts, are instead looking for more opportunities for middle and upper income residents and assistance for condo owners.
Well, the number one key point is housing. So Affordable housing.
Well, not necessarily affordable housing, because we have a large stock of middle to upper income residents here. We do have affordable housing here, so it's not that we don't have it. But when we talk about the most vulnerable people in South Shore, they would be the condominium owners. So we need to have, we have all of the organizations that are coming together around this issue: South Shore Works, the Chamber of Commerce, and the NNA, and we all have our own base. South Shore Works have a base of nonprofit organizations in the community. South Shore Chamber have a base of businesses in the community, and we have the base of residents in the community. So we're all coming together to make sure that community members know that we have been hearing them through the quality of life plan that we're working on, but also just getting the word out on what the asks have been and what they are.
Another area news, federal EPA has completed its 5-year review of the USS lead Superfund site in East Chicago. The site was once used by various companies to refine and process lead ore. Among them was the U.S. Smelting and Lead Refinery Corporation, for which the site was named. A residential and commercial corridor developed around the site. The West Calumet housing complex was built on the former home of an abandoned company that processed lead, the Anaconda Lead Products Facility. The review describes the work that has been done so far on the site located between Indiana Harbor and Parrish and Chicago Avenue and 115th Street. At least 2 feet of soil was removed from more than 800 properties on the site with high levels of lead and arsenic. The report outlines residents' concerns over properties removed from the evaluations, contaminated groundwater effects, including on wells and seepage into basements, and lead-based paint in basements and walls. The agency will conduct an additional analysis of the findings this year to produce recommendations. A South Chicago family is receiving the gift of an apartment makeover this holiday season thanks in part to Bo Jackson. Jackson, who is both a football and baseball all-star, joined into the efforts with Chicago White Sox volunteers and the organization Digs with Dignity. The group came over to the home of a South Chicago resident and mother, Tanika Harmon. Harmon, who is pregnant, has 3 young children and had experienced homelessness for most of her life. Harmon managed to move her family into a bare-bones apartment 2 years ago. Jackson and the group helped furnish Harmon's apartment with new sofas, tables, beds, a stock kitchen, and a Christmas tree with toys underneath. Jackson personally took $300 bills out of his pocket and attached them to the tree for each of Harmon's 3 kids. Finally, before we end this weekly review, just a reminder about emergency rental assistance available in our area. Emergency rental assistance is being offered in both Illinois and Northwest Indiana to try to decrease evictions and prevent homelessness and other issues due to the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. In Illinois, the Illinois Rental Payment Program is accepting applications until January 9, 2022. Information on the program can be found at www.illinoisrentalassistance.org. In Indiana, applications in Lake County are being accepted until December 31st. Information can be found at www.lakecountyin.care. And that ends our weekly review for December 13th through December 20th, 2021. Thank you for joining us for this week in review. And from all of us at Rise, we wish you all happy holidays and a Merry Christmas. Peace.